Well, hello and welcome to this, another video, and indeed there's going to be a podcast from the Two Wise Birds. For those of you who don't know us, I'm Sue Boynton, dental legal consultant, and I'm here
And
with
I'm
Jane.
Lelean, and I'm a dental business coach and trainer.
And of course, we're both dentists as well. We're both GDC registrants.
Absolutely.
So, what do you want to chat about today, Jane?
Well, one of the things that I recognize, and I am going to be honest, it's one of my little frustrations, is that as dentists, we expect and we want our patients to be seen by experts. So if somebody's got an endo and it's out of our skill level, it's normal and reasonable to expect a patient to go to a specialist. Similarly, I'm not great at surgical aids. You really wouldn't want me to take out your wisdom tooth. So I refer because I know that's out of my skill set.
Yeah.
And yeah, I recognize in other areas of dentists' lives, they don't apply the same approach of recognizing when they need expert help. And they reach out to non-experts, and we see this on the internet. We know there's patients that reach out to non-experts and have things done by their friends. There's an awful story about a guy bragging about having his tooth taken out down the pub, dead 3 days later.
Yeah, absolutely.
And there are consequences of not having expert help. I mean, what are your thoughts on that?
I think you're absolutely right. And I have to say, I do see people sometimes, dentists and DCPs, posing questions on chat forums and that type of thing and wanting advice from the profession. And I can fully understand that. It's natural to reach out to colleagues, but sometimes there are things where you need expert advice. I've seen people asking questions about the GDC case. And whilst we all can give general advice on that, and it's really well intentioned, I'd always say to people, do you know what? Go to your indemnity organisation. They're the absolute experts in this. They'll know the nuances of your case and your background, and they'll give you detailed, focused advice that's specific to you. So you can get support from a chat room when people say, look, I'm really sorry that's happened to you, you know, and you will get through it. And that's valuable in itself, but the expert advice has to come from the experts.
Absolutely. And I think that that's also something that's worth mentioning, is that support from people, because I'm a member of lots of these groups and I think they're fantastic. I think they have their place and they are filled with well-intentioned, caring colleagues that want to support their colleagues, because we don't like seeing people go through pain, whether that's physical pain, emotional pain, mental pain. And yet we have to recognize what our skill set is. And you are a dental legal advisor, you've got the training, you've got the experience. And so I think it's reasonable that people come to you, and yet you are always saying, go to your indemnity. Yeah. And similarly, I think that there's issues that I've been talking about with a number of clients this week who've got that critical voice, that little voice in their head which says, you're rubbish, you're not good enough, you're not worthy, you're not capable. And you and I are both master NLP practitioners. That we know, because of the training we've done, that voice can be dealt with. That voice can be eradicated. And it can be done quickly. It's not like psychotherapy, which may take a long time, and goodness knows I've done psychotherapy, it didn't work for me, NLP did. But yes, again, recognize your field of expertise. And yes, there may be people out there that are also experiencing the same thing, but it can be dealt with, and just find the people that can do it and do it well.
I think that's right. And we do come across practitioners who have that critical voice all the time. And of course, that has to be balanced with, sometimes there are clinical developmental needs, and sometimes there are soft skill developmental needs as well. And it's all about recognizing those and getting them into perspective, isn't it?
Yeah.
I'll tell you what's a question that's coming up quite a lot, and I suspect you're getting it as well, Jane, is when something's gone wrong in the surgery, something just hasn't worked out as you wanted it to. People are saying, in theory now, I might know what to do, but I've never been able to practice how to deal with that. And when the situation arises, I'm going to be really stressed in the surgery and maybe I'm pressed for time. Is there somewhere where I can practice that in a safe environment? What do you think, and I'm talking off the top of my head here, about you and I setting up some training where people can practice just that?
And I think that that would be incredibly valuable. And as you say that, the thing that really strikes me is the difference between intellectually knowing something and actually being able to do it. And I think they are two different things. And as we think about this for things like medical emergencies or fire, we know that as clinicians that we should be practicing this stuff. There's one thing to go to a lecture about what is the right medication to do when you've got a medical emergency, but dealing within your patient in the practice, that's where that mock-up and that rehearsal really counts. So absolutely, I think that there is probably a great deal of value in us supporting people in an interactive way.
Yeah.
That when things do go wrong, well, I've broken a file, I've taken out the wrong tooth, or I've just shouted at my nurse and she's walked out and I don't know how to bring it back. All those sorts of things, day-to-day stuff that we can deal with, that we can, and if we learn how to deal with it, that's baggage that we can just put down and carry on, and we're no longer haunted by it.
And I think that's right, because there is a fear of dealing with the unknown, as we know. I hope that doesn't happen because I won't know how to deal with it. So we could set up some small group training for that. And I'm thinking it would actually, in the current circumstances, work online, where someone can have a confidential small group training and practice in a safe environment.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So we could do this for practices where a practice would like to do it, or we could do it for individuals that would like to be in a group with the absolute proviso, Chatham House rules. What stays on the meeting, what's said on the meeting stays on the meeting, and it's fully confidential.
Yeah. I tell you what, because you're about to go off on your hols again.
Oh, it's only a weekend to put my feet in the sea. You know what I'm like? I have to put my feet in the sea.
Jane, I've seen a picture of your feet on the internet.
A garden picture. I know, my hobbit feet.
Why don't we give it some thought after that? I'll put some thoughts together over the weekend. We can have a chat when you're back, and then let's have a look.
Yeah.
We also mentioned that we're doing these Two Wise Birds in a slightly different way, because there's been a bit of a problem with the sound that doesn't seem to fix itself on Skype. Even though I've got a professional microphone at this end, it seems to fade it a little bit. So we're going forward on Zoom at the moment, and we'll be launching our podcast shortly soon as well. So there's quite a lot of exciting stuff coming along, I have to say.
Absolutely. And I think that there's some really, just in that little bit, there's so many gems. That first of all, I'm going to put the invitation out there that whilst we can think about it and what we think is possible, it's really important that we get feedback from the people who are listening and watching
Absolutely.
What do you think? Because it's great for us to think, oh my goodness me, this is an amazing opportunity. You've got some expertise. We can help you, support you. But do you want it? Yeah. And how do we make it work for you if you recognize that that is that? But also this whole thing that we've recognized that the sound isn't working for us.
Yeah.
So rather than continuing doing the same thing, we're exploring something different. And that's, I think, integrity. And that's what we're going to invite other people to do, is recognize when stuff isn't working.
And this is a fabulous opportunity to try out different things, both in your normal life and in dentistry as well. And people will be supportive of that. So yeah, let's all give it a go.
So what you're suggesting is that I need to wash my feet before I put photos on the internet?
Not at all. What I'm suggesting is, you like going in the sea, and get yourself excited and get yourself.
I know. Muddy feet, wet feet, happy feet. Happy me.
And on that note,
that's really important, isn't it? I joke about it, is that difficult times for everybody at the moment in different ways. Recognize what lights you up, recognize what you really enjoy doing it, and make the space for it, carve it out. Because for me, I know that I have to put my feet in the sea. To me, it is so therapeutic. I can't express in words how valuable that is.
yeah.
And for other people, they will have different things, but just make sure you do it.
Absolutely.
What's your thing?
Oh, do you know, I like being in open water, as you say, in lakes, rivers, the sea, having a swim, having a splash about in there. And I like walking, mountain biking, that sort of stuff. Anything with fresh air. And usually in Yorkshire, it involves fresh air and rain.
You learn to love it.
Absolutely.
Fantastic. Well, let's say ta-ra, and till next time. And we look forward to feedback from people about how they think that we can support them, because we're here to help you.
Yeah. Take care. Bye.
Bye.